WBNE.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
We really should just have Casey record this for us.
No, wait, I can do it. You ready?
Uh-huh.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Saturday Matinee.
Oh my god.
You got your coffee this morning?
I did. I am awake. I've had my cold brew and I'm ready to do this.
I'm ready too.
I don't sound like I just stumbled out of bed.
I just had a chocolate chip muffin. Who's jealous?
I'm jealous.
It's so good. I ate it before I got on.
I want a muffin.
Well, listen, if we lived closer together, I'd deliver you muffins every Saturday.
A girl can dream.
Eni, are you ready to talk about my 2 favorite Galavant episodes?
Yes, I am. I'm so excited. These were really good episodes. And I know we've spent like the entirety of this series just like, oh my god, Galavant's so great. But it really is. Mm-hmm. Like it just is.
We got a lot of character development in these last 2 episodes. Like a lot about Isabella, which I loved.
Yeah, we learned a lot of character history on King Richard, which was good. And yeah, and they're setting up for the big bad.
I know, because I think it was Haley. Is it Haley that told us that the next 2 are this season finale?
Are they?
So, yeah, already.
Already?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we just started.
Well, this is our 3rd episode.
So we did just start.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are talking about Galavant episodes 5 and 6. Yes. So where we left off last week, Galavant and Isabella were on their way to Valencia.
Yeah.
To, quote unquote, save Madalena. And yeah. And Isabella had attempted to tell Galavant that what the whole like background evil plot was, and he just like wasn't paying attention to her.
Yeah.
So we start off the episode and they show up at like this monastery with a bunch of monks, and the main monk is Weird Al, which like, what?
I know, our whole chat was just like, Weird Al? Question mark, question mark, question mark.
And I know a couple of people that have seen this show before. Like I think Toothin was like, had kind of teased that there was going to be like a really good cameo this episode. Mm-hmm. And I think he even put it like in spoiler bars in our chat.
Did he?
I think so. And I didn't click on it because I hadn't watched it and I didn't want to get spoiled. And it took literally every ounce of fiber in my being not to click on it.
Yeah. Those spoiler bars, man, they just make you want to know the spoiler even more.
I feel like it's worse than just having the spoiler channel.
I agree.
Because all I want to do is click on them and see what the spoiler is and see if it's actually a spoiler. And then I get spoiled and then I'm upset.
And then I'm sad.
And I have no one to blame but myself.
Oh yeah, I have the like spoilers, I think it's for bacon and eggs. I have it like muted because I'm like, I will just look at this. And there are a lot of things I haven't seen.
I don't have anything muted because
you're a mod.
I'm a mod. So
you don't have that privilege.
Nope. Okay, so what else happens this episode?
It's like a lot about Madalena, because I think it's Mad Elena, or She's Mad Elena.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. I love plays on words. I love
a play on words.
Yes, that was too many plurals. Can you pluralize plural?
Can you pluralize plural?
Is pluralize not a word?
I don't no. It's not.
Are you sure? That sounded right, though.
No, it didn't. Oh, so episode 5 is completely Mad Elena.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
That's it.
We get the best Madalena song ever right at the beginning, talking about how stupid King Richard is and all of the people who work for him, which is great. I watched that scene again this morning because I was like, I need to watch this again.
Her like inner monologue solo song. Yeah. It was great.
and then she like sings to herself in the mirrors. It really like made me feel like Lost in the Woods from Frozen 2.
I see that, except evil.
Yeah. But it's like the same kind of idea where they're like dramatically monologuing to themselves.
Yeah. So King Richard is very excited for the inevitable appearance of Galavant and his capture and execution of Galavant. So he's planning this huge like feast or whatever. And obviously ropes in the cook, which is the love of my life. I want, like, not actually, I just want to like hold him and keep him safe and make sure that nothing bad ever happens to him, because he's like the sweetest little thing.
And he's in love with Daisy.
I was getting there. So Madalena's like handmaid is Daisy from Downton Abbey.
Her name's Gwen in the show, but
I couldn't have told you that.
Again, I watched this episode again this morning.
I was just like, I'm like, why does she look familiar? Why does she look so familiar?
Someone in the chat was like, it's Daisy.
And I was like, oh my God. And now all I want to do is rewatch Downton Abbey, but it's fine.
Yeah.
So the cook is actually like super in love with Daisy. What did you say her name is? Gwen. And Madalena kind of uses that to proposition the cook to tell her what is going on and why the king is so excited, because the king hasn't told her of his like whole plot. Right. And basically is like, I will, get you a date with my handmaid if you tell me what's going on.
Right.
And yeah, that's kind of what happened.
But then they sing the funniest love song ever.
Yes.
Where it's all about like, it's so gross.
It's like how love is like like I don't even remember what it says, but it's like love is smelly and and it hurts and whatever, and stuff about the plague and dying children, and but it's a love song. Like they're all happy while they're singing it, and
it's really funny because they talk about how their life expectancy is only 32. So they'll never have to live without each other.
Yeah. So we cut back to the three adventurers, I guess. And so they show up at this monastery, and these monks, instead of taking a vow of silence, have taken a vow of singing, which is genius.
Yeah.
And it's led by Weird Al. Isabella's having obviously a conscience moment, like, because she wants to tell Galavant what's going on, but at the same time she doesn't want her parents to die, so she's weighing her options basically, and talks to Weird Al, who is like the head monk, and it's just the whole interaction's hilarious. She ends up going to Richard on her own to try to negotiate, and was like, here, I'll give you the jewel, I'll give you the kingdom, just like, free my parents and let Galavant live. And Richard obviously, is not having any of that. And that's when he tells her, you either bring me Galavant or I will kill your parents. Yeah,
because he's a turd. He's like,
yeah, but like, I have too much empathy for people. I feel like there's like so much reasoning why he is the way that he is, which is explained in the next episode,
I guess.
But yeah, so this episode ends with Galavant and Isabella and Lee Jordan.
Sid.
Yeah, there we go. Sid. Sneaking into the kingdom to try to get, one over on Richard, and turns out that Richard's the one that's gotten one over on them, and Galavant learns that Isabella has betrayed him.
And it's so sad. Because is it after that or before that when they sing the love song? That might be in the next episode.
That's in the next episode.
We watched them so close together that, like, I always forget.
Yeah, I know. I kind of see them as one episode, since number one, they're so short, and number two, we're watching them 2 at a time with everyone.
Right.
So,
and also we're covering them, like,
2 at a time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so overall, like, Weird Al's song is great. Madalena's song is great. Like, again, Alan Menken. You know, like the music in this is just amazing. The lyrics are hilarious, which I know that Alan Menken didn't do the lyrics.
Yeah, we looked it up. I forget his name, though.
It's gonna bother me. Glenn Slater. Glenn Slater did the lyrics. That's right, because he liked my tweet, and I was like, hello. Yeah, so Glenn Slater is the guy who wrote the lyrics for all of these songs, and everything, the songs, even whoever wrote the actual, like, lines, like, who did the screenplay for this, everything is so witty. The jokes are really funny. Most everything either has, like, a double entendre or, like, just...
Yeah.
It's just a play on words or whatever. Like, everything is very purposefully said the way that it is said.
Right, and it usually, like, not only will be a double entendre, but it will, like, make fun of today's world and the medieval world.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not even, like, not only just a sexual double entendre, it's also another double entendre where it's like, oh, this is funny because you're saying it because we're watching this in a modern world, but it's about medieval world, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think that's what makes this show so clever.
Oh, absolutely.
I love it.
So that brings us to the next episode, which is episode 6, which is Dungeons and Dragon Lady.
We were so excited when we saw that.
So the episode starts off and Galavant, Isabella, and Sid are all in the dungeon. They've been captured by King Richard. And it's kind of the process of, like, they're getting ready to execute Galavant, and that's what this episode's going to be about. And
right.
Madalena ends up... Okay, so Madalena sets up a dinner for Gwen and the cook. Does the cook have a name?
No, he's just called Chef, I think.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a chef. He's not a cook.
Sorry. The chef.
That's okay.
This is... That's upsetting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just... Oh, let me look.
Oh, it's Gwyn, not Gwen.
I thought it was just Gwen in a weird accent.
It's spelled Gwynne.
It could still be Gwen.
Can it?
Pretty sure.
Okay.
Could be wrong. Let's see. Does he have a name? Well, the actor's name is Darren Evans.
His name is Vincenzo.
Oh.
The royal chef of Valencia.
How did you find that?
On Wikipedia.
That's where I just was. Obviously, I'm not on the right page. This is why I don't look up things. And you do.
Okay, well, yeah. So Vincenzo. We'll just call him the chef.
I was going to say, that I feel like that name is too fancy for him.
So Madalena sets up this, like, or tells the chef to set up this, like, romantic meal for himself and Gwen. Daisy.
Yeah, Daisy. I just kept calling her Daisy in the whole chat.
And ends up basically just using, or she ends up switching the chef and Gal as they're taking him to be executed.
Right.
So instead of taking Galavant to be executed, they take the chef to be executed, and Galavant ends up at this, like, fancy dinner with Madalena. And then Galavant, like, professes his love for her and tells her how much, like, his freaking sun rises with her, whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's just super cute and romantic and, like, completely just, like, falling head over heels again with her, even though she's done nothing but treat him like crap. And her response is like, well, I love you as much as someone like me can love someone. Which is not really an acceptable answer.
No.
But Galavant seems to just accept it.
Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of his character, man.
He just blindly loves.
Yeah.
And it's
silly, honestly.
It's endearing, but also kind of, you want to kind of smack him upside his head every now and then.
And by every now and then, you mean all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah. The way you just said that sounded like that TikTok. Yeah.
Okay.
There are going to be people who get that.
I am not one of them.
You know the TikTok. It's the one with the Animal Crossing noise.
I mean, no, yes, I know that noise. Are you done?
And then there's someone over it goes, yeah.
See, I don't know that part.
Oh, well, it's in the noise.
Okay.
It's in the sound. Welcome to TikTok with Becca. It's all she does. Why aren't you talking?
Oh, why do I have to talk?
I don't know. It was just a long pause. That never happens in our recordings. Dab.
I just feel like I'm talking the entire time.
Fire power.
No,
you're not talking the entire time.
Is this still TikTok with Becca?
No.
I don't know what just happened right now.
Firepower is from Night at the Museum 2. Boom. Boom. Firepower.
Oh, is that the thinking man or whatever?
Yeah, it's the it's Sylvester Stallone, isn't it?
Huh?
I think he's the one who plays it. Isn't Sylvester Stallone play him?
I don't know.
I think he does. It could be a lie though.
It's one of the statues or whatever. It's not the I'm thinking, but it's the other one that's like super ripped. Yeah. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, I haven't thought about Night of the Museum 2 in like
Do you
a decade.
Know why I saw that movie?
Why?
Do you know who plays the cherubs in that movie?
No.
The Jonas Brothers.
Oh yes, I did know that.
And then they sang Love Bug.
They do
song.
sing Love Bug. Oh
Only
my
reason
God.
I went to go see that movie.
No, I'm a huge Robin Williams fan, and Robin Williams as Teddy Roosevelt is like a huge piece of my childhood. Not really childhood, but like adolescence.
True.
What were we talking about?
We're supposed to be talking about Galavant, and somehow it turned to TikTok and the Jonas Brothers, which, if that isn't my brand. Now we just have to talk about Percy Jackson, and then we'll hit the trifecta.
Well, I mean, do you want to talk about what happened on Thursday?
Listen, this is the first time that we have recorded since I found out that Percy Jackson is being adapted into a television show. And honestly, everyone just tweet at me. I won't take up our time because we do a musical theater podcast and this isn't about the musical. However, Disney should also put the musical on there. But if y'all want to talk to me about Percy Jackson, honestly, I'm debating becoming a Percy Jackson TikToker. Tweet at me and we can talk about Percy Jackson. I'm also rereading them. It's taking over my life. Enie's making me a Camp Half Flood shirt. But yeah, this is all my life has been since the announcement on Thursday.
Fair. Okay, so where were we in the show?
We were talking about Galavant professing his love to Madalena and how she's a turdmeister.
Okay, and then what happens?
I think that's the end of the show because that's when...
No, it's not.
The end of the episode. Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Not the second episode.
We're talking about the second episode.
I'm so confused.
Oh my gosh.
I thought that was in the first episode.
No, the first episode ends with them being put in the dungeon, which is why the next episode is called Dungeon and Dragon Lady.
Okay. But then Galavant's super sad when they're back in the dungeon because he gets thrown in the dungeon back again with his friends. And then he discovers he's actually in love with Isabella and calls her Izzy. And my heart melted. I don't know who I'm more attracted to, honestly. But I mean, it's the two of them.
That's fair. Yeah, so at first he's like really kind of this like upset with everyone because Isabella has also betrayed him at this point. And he's also still like can't decide if he loves Madalena or what the hell's going on with him. So we kind of cut to Richard discovering that the person who is about to get hung is not Galavant and is instead his favorite chef, and is talking to Gareth about how he doesn't know what to do and why he is the way that he is and whatever. So the chef convinces him to go see this magician named Xanax.
Played by Ricky Gervais. So
the rest of the episode, Richard and the chef go to see Xanax, who, yes, is played by Ricky Gervais, and he's hilarious, who is a magician who basically gives them drugs.
Yeah, that's his whole character.
Like that, he is like, the whole scene is like, Richard tells the chef, this is a sketchy area, are you sure we should be here? And it's just like this medieval like drug encounter. And it's hilarious and so well written. But yeah, so he basically starts tripping and goes back to his childhood, and you see like child Richard when like his father died and his older brother doesn't take the throne, and he's like this little like chubby little kid who is adorable and everyone like hates him. and yeah,
they're mean to him.
So, and you realize that him and Gareth have been friends since then.
Yeah.
And it's just
because they like are like, Gareth, you have to watch over him, and he's like, I'm only 10, but I guess I'll die for my king. So funny.
It is. And that you kind of see the background of those two characters, because while this is all happening, Madalena is trying to get Gareth to torture the prisoners. And Gareth is only supposed to be taking orders from the king. And Madalena goes, oh, well, you know that the king is soft, and, you know, he cries, and he, what is it? He makes stools, like customized stools. And it cuts to an actual, like, stool for Gareth to sit on that says Gareth. It's so funny.
It's so silly. I love it.
Yeah. But you learn that, Richard has an older brother, Kingsley, who was probably, I want to say, like 16 at the time that their father died. And it's like, it's assumed, obviously, that he's going to take the throne and be the next king and the whole thing.
Because he's the oldest.
And yeah, and his name is Kingsley. And I guess, like, their whole process of becoming king is that you have to be given this sword of whatever.
Yep.
And Kingsley's whole deal is like, well, I'm not given anything. I take what I want.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He's so obnoxious.
He basically is a villain. Like, that's what he wants to be.
Yeah,
like, the way that he
talks about wanting to go and, like, pillage and, like, leave a bunch of bastard children all over the place and this whole thing. So, so he basically steps aside, and right as Richard is about to be given the sword and become king, Kingsley is like, well, I'll take this, and, like, takes the sword and leaves. Yeah. So Richard is, like, embarrassed in front of the entire kingdom, and it's, like, super humiliating, and that's kind of, like, the epicenter of why he is who he is, and why he seeks, like, everybody's approval and all of that.
And he said it's why he feels like he's second best to everyone. Yeah. Which, I mean, makes sense, man.
I get it.
He's second best to his wife. He's second best to his kingdom. And he just feels like... See, I knew King Richard was going to be my favorite, even over Galavant. And then this episode just, like, solidified it. Like, he has so much more depth than I feel like the other characters do, and I love it.
I love Galavant, though. I love him so much.
Izzy's my fave of the, like, heroes.
Galavant's just so, like, trusting and, like, I don't know, he just, like, puts his all into everything.
He's a Gryffindor.
Yes. But yeah, so the episode ends, and Madalena has apparently called to Kingsley in order to take back the kingdom. Yes. And that's kind of the cliffhanger of where this episode ends. And I'm super excited to see the penultimate and ultimate episode, or season finale of this season.
What does penultimate mean?
Before the last.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's one of those words in English that the only reason that I know it in English is because in Spanish it's penúltima. So, yeah. It's penúltima in Spanish and then penultimate in English.
Are they spelled the same?
No.
Oh. They sound like they would be if I just heard you just saying it like that.
I think it's literally just the last letter that are different, because it's penultimate, so it ends with an E, and it's penúltima in Spanish, which ends in an A. But I don't know. I can't see them in my head right now, written out.
That's fine.
But yeah, so I am very upset that we're almost halfway through this experience, and I kind of want them to make more Galavant. And I can't believe that there's only 2 seasons, but apparently, like, this didn't do very well when it came out. I mean, it was even a stretch for them to get a second season.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't watch it, so... And we were, like, the perfect...
Oh, yeah, like, we were the targeted audience. Yeah. And we did not watch it, so yeah, I guess it's all our fault. Yeah. That makes me so sad.
It's our fault.
That makes me so sad.
Want to watch Galavant with us, we do it every Wednesday at 8 p.m., unless we say otherwise, with our patrons on Discord. And not just our patrons, but any WB&E patron is invited.
Yeah, they are.
So on that note, Eni, you ready to wrap up?
Yeah. Galavant's awesome, and even if you're not watching it with us, you guys should watch it because it's really funny and the music's really good.
And it's on Netflix. And you can watch it, and, like, we'll still talk about it with you on, like, Twitter and stuff. Or in our Facebook
yeah, for
group.
sure.
So if you like our show, please tell a friend. The best way to get the word out about podcasts is by word of mouth. Anybody you want to, like, watch Galavant with, and you're like, hey, these girls are talking about Galavant every Saturday. You should watch it with me, and we'll listen to it every Saturday. Do it, especially because it comes out at noon on Saturdays, so it can be, like, a little brunch special. I don't know why I said special so weird.
It's because you are weird.
Yeah, truth.
As we said earlier, you can go to patreon.com/sincerelyyes to become a patron of our show. The first 25 patrons will receive a signed postcard, and we're almost there. The $3 tier gets you access to the Discord that we share with the other WB&E creators, and that's all it takes, $3 to get into the Discord, and that's where we're sharing the Netflix party links in order to watch Galavant with us. But honestly, the Discord is our favorite place on the internet. Yeah. It's where we met. Yeah. It's where we interact with the most with our fans, because it's literally just a chat for us to talk to you.
Yeah, and about musicals.
Oh, absolutely.
So, like, on, like, one of the things that we've been hearing a lot about because of quarantine is people will post articles that are like, hey, this show's closing, and we're like, aw, sad, and then we talk about that show. So, like, a lot of that takes place on Discord. I know.
We'll talk about it on the green room.
Okay.
Which reminds me, for $10 a month, you get access to our bonus show, which is the green room, which is actually called the yellow room, but whatever. That's usually where we talk about topics that don't make it into the main show. So most likely this week we will be talking about, the fact that Frozen has closed. We'll probably talk about the Hamill film again. And I don't know what else we'll talk about. We never really know what we're going to talk about. We kind of just talk.
Yeah. Last week we did our whole, like, first thoughts of the Hamill film. So, and also, if you're a $10 patron, you get all of the episodes that we've done in the past.
Yes.
So you can listen to all of the stuff before.
Absolutely.
For $5, you get a shout out on the show. This episode is brought to you by Taylor, Rachel, Allie, Haley, Matt, Claire, Josh, Christy, Linton, Mott, Brian, Willie, Mama Wendy, and our newest patron, my best friend, Bree. Thank you so much for continuing to support our show and making our dream of podcasting come.
Now, guys, I know that we're in the middle of quarantine and there's a lot of kind of uncertainty about everything. So I know that money is kind of hard to come by in some instances. So on that note, we have a completely 100% free to you Facebook page. You can find it at bit.ly/sincerelyfb. It's basically the same concept as Discord, except we're kind of in there a little less frequently because Facebook. But we share memes, we share BuzzFeed quizzes, we share news, like, again, the closure of Frozen, and just, Hamill film, and just, like, everything that's happening in Broadway. We usually just share it in there as well.
Sincerely Us is a proud member of WB&E. The network is always growing and changing with new shows all the time. You could start with the newest show, Late to the Party, which is an actual play D&D podcast. Listen to the relationship show, Bagels, or one of our favorites, Hello from Elsewhere, a deep dive into pop culture with hosts Valerie and Casey Winters. Here's a preview.
Hello from Elsewhere. That's the name of our podcast. I'm Casey.
And I'm Valerie. On our podcast, we dive deep into the characters and themes behind your favorite movies and books, all through a positive lens.
We explore all your biggest pop culture questions, both thoughtful and silly, like, what is the symbolism of magical portals in fantasy stories?
What would happen if Princess Anna went on a date with Kermit the Frog?
And what does the name Kylo Ren mean anyway?
Hint, it has something to do with flowers. Isn't that so cute?
If it's pop culture, we're interested in exploring the meaning behind it. So come journey through Elsewhere with us, wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, did you know someone once used the word jovial to describe Hello from Elsewhere?
Did you know someone once described our podcast as better than a Wookiee hug?
That is literally the nicest thing anyone has ever said.
Also, we're going to be a guest on Hello from Elsewhere on Friday, so you guys should definitely be on the lookout for that. May 22nd.
I cannot wait for everyone.
I cried a lot.
To listen.
I'm not going to tell you the topic. I'm going to let them announce it, but I cried a lot.
I can't wait for that episode. I think that's the longest we've ever podcasted.
Maybe. But our Dear Evan Hansen episode, I think we recorded for 2 hours, but we had to cut a lot out.
Fair.
For tears.
We also have the newest option of a super shout out. And basically what that means is you tell us, hey, look, I love Andrew Barth Feldman. And I
Same.
want the world to know how much I love him. So I'm going to write this blurb about him and I'm going to give it to you guys and you guys are going to talk about it on your show. And we will do that. You know, maybe you want to tell your best friend congratulations for graduating high school or congratulations for
being awesome.
Yeah, just being your best friend. You can head on over to wbne.org and click on Super Shoutouts and sign up to have us read whatever you want heard, as long as you're not being a butthead.
I almost just quoted Legally Blonde. Wow, I've never heard anyone use butthead in like a decade. Maybe to your face.
As always, you can follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at SincerelyUsPod. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at _EeneeMeenie. That's INYMEENY.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Becca Eddows. That's BECCAEDDOWS. Seriously, go over there and talk with me about Percy Jackson. Our art is by Vaishon Brandon of Graphite. You can follow him on Instagram at graphite.vmb.
We hope you've enjoyed this Saturday matinee. I'm Eni.
And I'm Becca, and I'll leave you with this question from Madalena. Why do I even speak to poor people?
Sincerely us.
It's not a Disney fan cast, I promise.